Hello, this is Eddie Marcus, and I want to speak to you on They Don't Care About You. Now, I didn't say they don't care about us, even though they don't, but I said you because you love them to the extent that you're blind. One of the most extravagant, extraordinary situations have occurred. A presidential candidate has been on television stating to America that 47% of the American population does not pay income tax. They would never vote for him, and as such, he's not worried about them. He's concerned about the rest. Now, imagine this. A candidate who wants to be president of the United States, president of 53% of the people. That's all he wants, 53, and you don't matter. In fact, he says the punishment for you is that he's going to cut back any programs or subsistence or entitlements that you consider illegitimate. He's going to say that you should be a part of making money. Making money. Money is something that they put up, the elite put up to control you, to manipulate you, to get you involved in what they're doing. And many of you have tried businesses that have failed, not because you were ignorant, but because there was no market for it. But what are you supposed to do? According to these people, and I say these people because he represents not just himself. This man has spent billions of dollars that have come from someplace that have been given to him to sell that perspective on life. Now, the sad thing about it is that 49, 47, maybe 51% of these people might vote for him, which means that half of the nation does not care about the other half of the nation. And a nation like that is surely entitled for an extraordinary amount of love. Love that comes from you, the people. God is not going to strike nobody down because this is your voice. This is your opportunity. This man has stood up and said it to your face that you don't matter. Now don't think that just because he said that the Democratic Party is your solution. The Democratic Party is not your solution. The Democratic Party is in office right now. Sure, a lot of things that President Obama tries to do is cut down by these people. But there are so many things that needs to be done that have not even crossed Barack Obama's mind. Or if it has, you and I sure know nothing about it. And the people he keeps employing in his office, in his administration, are people who think like the other side. People who care about you, every last one of you. Where are they? You think they're employed by government? And somebody tried to say that government is a separate entity. What is government? You should ask yourself, what is government and what is government intended to be? Now, I tell you what I think government is. I tell you what I want government to be. I want government to be that set aside, that sanctified institution, set aside to make sure that your will of caring about each citizen in this nation, protecting each citizen in this nation, that their concerns are your concerns, and that they will not be infringed upon, that those things that are coming amongst you, coming amongst them, will be guaranteed to each other. That is the substance of life: food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, careers of choice, and all that stuff that lies in between. But the sad thing about it is that they, whatever percentage of them that he represents, will go to those polls and vote for that ideology that he's advocating and against you. And you will go and vote for a continuation of the things that have been going on all along. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this attitude is the same attitude that denied women all of their rights. This same attitude is the attitude that allowed slavery to exist for over 400 and some years. This same attitude is the reason that poverty exists in America today. This same attitude is why jobs have been overseas to get low wages at your expense. You don't have a job. They blame this on you. They took the jobs and sent them overseas so they can make more money. And then blame you because you don't have a job. This, my friends, this exemplifies what you have been dealing with all your life. Now you think that a vote for the continuation of the same thing because it doesn't matter. Half of these jobs that were sent overseas by the Democrats, by Bill Clinton. Does he care any more about you than George W. Bush? I say no. Because you were unemployed, you were suffering under each of these administrations all your lives, those of you who have been suffering. So I say to you, it's time for a change. It's time for a system change. A system change. Now the people who will vote for this Republican don't think that it's time for a change. And they will not vote for a change. And they will do everything they possibly can to prevent a change. They will start a civil war to prevent a change. They will go over, just like they have against other third world countries or other countries, and start a war. They will put this nation under martial law to prevent change. They don't care about you. But I come to tell you about a power that created everything, even you and them, that says you are a child of the Most High. And that in that creation, it was prepared that you would never suffer lack. You would have food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, careers of choice, because it has been designed as a prerequisite to live on this planet. And the designer instilled in you a part that would allow you to participate. And that liar comes over and tells you that you are more important than some. You are more deserving than some. That you are more special. Like telling Israel, it's the most fantastic nation, God's special people. Like telling Americans that white people are God's superior people in America. That's a bunch of crap, ladies and gentlemen. Israel is no more important than anybody over in the opposite side. I put it this way. The Jew is no more important than the Gentile. The American is no more important than the, what I want to say? That's right, Iran. You are no more important than anybody. And the fact that you have been, I don't want to call cursed, and allowed to go over and oppress people to guarantee that your will gets a chance to be expressed amongst the people, amongst the lands. It's nothing but a curse. It's nothing but a curse. Your sons and daughters are being shot down every day in one place in the world or another. And you just sitting back thinking it's legitimate. Thinking you are what? Patriotic? That's not patriotic, that's foolishness. The God, the creator of all life, didn't design this. Didn't design, let me tell you something. I was watching TV one morning, early at some hotel, and I was watching the History Channel. There was a state, I believe it was Oklahoma, but don't hold me to that. And what had happened is that the Union soldiers and others had done everything they can to drive out or slaughter the natives of that particular state. And they were going to open up the state for white people. Basically, what hadn't really didn't have to do with white people. It had to do with the aristocrats. Those who had money, who wanted more land, who wanted this and that. Who paid people to go out and serve them in the capacity that I'm about to mention to you. There were people who didn't have horses, who didn't have means of travel, but yet and still this big state was set aside for anybody who could go and grab a parcel of land and put their stake on it. And the way that they thought it was best to do it was to set a certain time and a certain date and allow everybody to come to the border. And at that certain time, a cannon would shoot off, and people could run across the state and put their stakes where they chose. Now you got people out there working for the aristocrats, putting stakes out for the aristocrats. You got people out there who couldn't make it because they didn't have the wherewithal to get across this big piece of land. And yet, the land was grabbed. But it was grabbed to those who had the wherewithal to do so. And those who did not were left out. Now, do you think that was fair? Well, this presidential candidate does. And apparently at least 49% of the American population thinks the same way. That's the way it does. That's okay. These are the people who think they are more important than you, who think they're wiser than you. They don't think that their strength is an asset to help the weak. No, they see it as an asset to take advantage of the weak. Well, you know where I'm going. I don't want to spend any more time on this. But let me say to you, your future is in your hands. You can sit up and act like you have been acting all your life if you want to. But don't cry. Don't cry when those things that you think are necessary for you, as little as they might be today, don't you cry when they're taken away from you. And don't you start grabbing a stick talking about who you've been to beat upside the head. Because with a beating inside your head, the beating anyone side of the head is no good. It's no good. You better wake up now. This is a golden opportunity for you to change the system. I'm not talking about change presidents from a Republican or Democrat. I'm talking about change the system. A system that guarantees, that every citizen of this country would have those things that are coming amongst them. As much as they can be produced in this country, as much as the materials are here, as much as the labor is here, as much as the need is here, it should be guaranteed that not one citizen will be without it. And if you got an ego that think that you are a man and you're better than a woman, or if you got an ego that think because your race is better than another race, you keep your ego. But we the people have designed to say that you're not going to exploit anybody. So says the Almighty that lives in us. Now, they don't care about you, but your Creator does. Do you care about yourself?